Yeah, this is trying to trap a nigga going wrong. I'm not going.
Trap a nigga? Are you crazy? You just came at me last night, you idiot.
Shout out, you beg me. You be begging me.
Last night, you idiot.
Get some jail. Somebody tell me.
Why is she back at this man's house? That's the question that needs to be asked. Why is she back? You went through all this embarrassment, all this public shaming for you to end up right back at his house. This is the definition of insanity. And I've dated a woman like this, and a lot of women like this tend to be attracted to drama. They like the back and forth. They like the everyday arguments. This gets them off. Because I don't know how in the world this is a healthy relationship. I'm a big fan of Dababy. I was a fan of his back when Baby on Baby was first coming out, when he was first trying to make his run, and he was just now blowing up. I was a fan of his since the very beginning. I'm still a fan of his. He's probably one of my most listened to artists out of all the music I listen to. But he continues to find himself in the news and the headlines, and it's usually not something good. And from a mile away, you can see that this is dangerous. This is toxic. I think he has 2 baby mothers. And he hasn't wiped up either of them. And then you come into the picture thinking that he's going to wipe you up. It's pure insanity. It's not going to happen. And this is what happens with a lot of women want these top percent men. They want a guy that's playing professional sports, a guy that's in entertainment. And they end up in situations like this. Guys are only as faithful as their options are. This is common sense. Guys that got a lot of money, a lot of options, tend to not be the most faithful men. Now, there are exceptions. Now, some of these guys do end up marrying these chicks, but they marry one. They don't marry 10. They'll marry one of these chicks. Or you have a guy who, either when he was at the bottom or he was on his way up, a woman met him and saw his trajectory, and she jumped on the ship and rode along with him. But in most cases, if a guy going into his 30s and his 40s, he don't have a wife, he don't have no kids, he's about to be out here just free balling. And then if you're in a profession where you're traveling all across the globe, all across the country, guys are physical beings. If you out in California and I'm over here in Georgia doing the show, and then I'm flying to Florida, then Texas, you're going to have girls everywhere. So to get with people who are in this industry is insane. Women think they're going to have long-lasting relationships. They want to be taken care of. And the crazy part is that Danny Lay is not like most women that you run into. Most women that you run into do not have the resources, nor do they have the popularity. She can, even with a kid now, most women, when they get a kid, if they're good looking enough, they can bag another guy. And some women that aren't even attractive can bag another guy. But the possibility of you landing certain type of men goes down, because a lot of men, including myself, when you don't have kids, you don't want to date a woman that's got kids, because now you have to take up her responsibility and another man's responsibility, and it's never really going to be your kid, because when it comes down to, disciplining the kid, they're not going to give you full control of that. It's going to be a barrier in between you really being your kid. And then you're going to take care of this kid like it's your own. So in her situation, the circumstances, she does not have to be with this type of guy. She can be with any guy. Like, a lot of times they do these numbers where they're like, how many men make this amount of money, they're this height, and, whatever, they're this skin complexion or something. They'll do a percentage. It's like, oh, that's 2 or 3% of men. But when you also look at that 2 or 3% are not all in Texas, are not all in California. And then if they are in California, they're all over the state. So you're like, when you have people who don't have access or the reach to get to Florida, Georgia, or Arkansas, when they don't have the reach to get to all these different men, your percentage is even smaller. Because one of these guys is in New York and you're all the way in Arizona. You don't even travel that way. So it's like, you're not even going to get access to this man, even if he was attracted to you. She could get access to these guys. But the Summer Walkers, the Young Miamis, the Danny Lays, they fall victim to these guys, and they end up becoming another statistic, a baby mother. And then they want another guy to come play cleanup. It's not going to work. And if a guy ever calls you his side chick, if a guy ever says, okay, you ain't shit to me, you're my side piece, You were never my main chick. If a guy starts talking to you like that, just leave. People like, he shouldn't have put his baby mother out that late and shouldn't have done it. Leave. I was having this conversation with my sister. Me and my sister got into it over it. You know, she's adamant. She's a person that thinks that, you know, she can just put her hands on me and there'd be no consequences. And I'm not the type of guy that'll beat a woman up. But I'm like, there's guys out there. I do not feel bad for women who initiate that type of stuff and then something happens to them in return. It's like, keep your hands to yourself. I'm not touching you. You don't touch me. If you're mad, go cool off somewhere else. But I've even heard people say, well, he should have just left and let her cool her head. It's his house. Like, what the fuck? What are we talking about? You telling me I'm going to leave my house to let somebody else cool down? Or we in my car, I'm going to leave my car stranded somewhere so you can cool down. You need to go take a walk and go cool down. I'm not going nowhere. You need to go. This is insanity. But, you know, the first thing a lot of women want to do is they want to, you know, put their hands on guys and touch them and stuff. Listen, keep your hands to yourself. When are we going to get to a time where that's not going to happen? We wouldn't have to worry about this. But this is her back again the next day after she gets embarrassed, and he's back on IG Live recording it, which is what that's another thing. People saying he shouldn't have recorded it. Are we what world are we in? This man has gone through so many incidents that's put him in the headlines. This is the last thing he needs, that he just got out of quote unquote being canceled. You know, this is the last thing he needs is for her to go to the police and lie because she's mad that he's treating her like a side chick and he's doing this, that, and the other. And she's like, oh, he put his hands on me or he did X, Y, and Z. This is the last thing he needs. So he needs to record it. Should he record it on Instagram Live? You know, that's questionable. I can see it, I guess. But still, it's live. It's not some recording that we have to wait for days for it to come out. She gets to put her accusations out there. Court of public opinion doesn't care. You know, they're going to judge you up the first thing that comes out. They're not going to come back later and say, well, oh, there is a video. That stuff runs in the headlines for a day or two. The fact that you beat on her and all this other stuff, that's going to run for a week. You know, lies are going to sell more than the truth. So should he record it? Yes. Most men need to record it. Because men don't report it. Women love trying to say it's men that's abusive and men that's going to assault women and we're the ones, you know, beating up our girlfriend. That's not the case. Most women start these domestic violence disputes. But you need to have evidence and you need to record it. Because even the way the cops treated it when she came in the when she's where he at? The way the cops treated this situation after it happened, that right there lets you know they don't give a fuck. They don't care about what a woman does. A woman can do what she wants to do. A woman can operate however she wants to operate. Because men don't usually report domestic violence disputes. It's almost like a shame, like men are embarrassed to do it, but you need to. Because when this behavior goes unchecked and women are allowed to do this and they're not arrested and put in jail, this behavior goes unchecked and they continue to do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. So
More to call baby, man. Let me run up a quick 10M. Let me run up a quick 10M. Somebody tell Maury to call me, man. Let's put this shit on Maury. Shorty is more material. Get up out my crib. Come on, get off my table. Bitch, come out here. Get up off my table, shorty.
Oh my God,
no. No.
And somebody was showing me this girl had a mansion or a condo that she bought. She signed the papers on the back of the car and ran into a house that was fully furnished. I was like, well, maybe it was furnished, and I was like, it sounded like a lot of BS to me. I honestly, I can't even lie. I was like, she signed the papers on the back of a car, didn't look at them. I was like, well, maybe they were already looked at by the lawyer and stuff. I'm like, she signed those papers quick as hell, back of the car, ran up in the house that already had furniture in and stuff. I'm like, that sounds like she had that thing rented. I'm like, why is she not at her place? People are like, well, she in the other side of the country and she on the way. Like, make it stop. You have resources. This is people are confusing this woman for a woman that works down the street at Rooms to Go or something. This woman has Billboard records. She's actually known. So I'm trying to figure out, like, why does she not have the resources to go somewhere? She can get a hotel. Why deal with the embarrassment, sit there and just be embarrassed like this? And then you don't want to leave. Like, if it's my house, if my name's on the lease, my name's on the deed, you need to go. This is not up for debate. But he's still allowing this woman in the house after she just, I don't even know if they even arrested her that day.
It's just saying, don't call them people to come get shorty up out my spot.
Go ahead,
Please,
call them to get you and your child off your spot. Go ahead.
Listen, a lot of people put themselves in these positions. Dababy puts himself in these positions. He's dealing with, now he's gonna have, this is maybe his third baby mama. You know, he puts himself in this position. Danny Lay puts herself in this position. A lot of accountability needs to be taken on both sides, but I hear a lot of chatter where it's like we can blame the baby for recording her, embarrassing her on live, you know, trying to kick her out at 3 a.m, all these different things. You know, we say a lot. You know, he's made questionable decisions from the get go. But one thing I can say is if you are trying to date someone, a woman, you're trying to date a man, however it goes, if they've shown you signs prior to you even dating them that they are not good people or their intentions are not well, do not go date these people. We are giving people chances that do not need chances. It is insane. We all know that this man has a tumultuous past full of like violence, and you know, the only thing I can think of that will make you stay is his money and his good dick. That's the only thing. And that is not enough to sustain a relationship. That is an artificial thing. People, a lot of, especially black women, they depend so much on sex and money, financial status, and those things are so artificial. They don't last. They're like, that's not going to keep you together in a relationship. You can get good sex in a lot of places. A lot of men have money, but you shouldn't prioritize those things. Those things should be extra. Because somebody can make $100,000 and at the end of the year have the same income, total income that's actually staying in the pocket, going into savings and stuff, as somebody that's making 70, depending on the lifestyle they live in, depending on the city they live in. They could have chose to move to a high occupancy city where the cost of living is really high. 100,000 means nothing, and somebody else could be in a city, in a state like Alabama, 70,000, and it's taking you a longer distance. Then they're living within their means, and somebody else, they want a high-rise apartment, a condo, and all this. You live with outside of your means. You have no money to save, so you have nothing to put back. So at the end of the day, y'all bring the same amount of money. But if you combine a household, if a woman's doing a somewhat decent job with something, and a guy he got him a little bread, and y'all combine, that's what marriage is about. You combine your household, you put two incomes together, it's better for the family. But women want the man to bring everything to the table, and if he doesn't have it, it's like, I'm going to the guy that does. But then now you got to compete for that guy, but then they don't want to compete. So it's like we're in this circle of, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to settle for a guy that makes less, try to make it work, or are you going to just stay and try to compete for the upper class guy? That's like me sitting around saying I'm only going to date a woman that's 8, 9, or 10. That's stupid. A lot of times those women come with the most trouble anyway. A lot of times the women that come with the least amount of trouble are the ones that are 6s and 7s. And they're better wife material because they're not sitting around with their hands out like, what can you do for me? They're sitting out trying to use their hands to help you get somewhere. They're appreciative of you. So men have always learned we have to date down, but look for qualities in a woman that can make her a good wife. Women haven't learned that concept yet, and it's getting to a point where they're going to hit this wall where it's going to be, I think the birth rates are going to drop after a while, just because it's going to be so many women not having kids because they're going to prioritize their careers and put men on the back burner. And I don't think it's going to end well. But to just come back to the video, if you're not wanted, just leave. And you have, like, that's, you can take anything from the video. If you're not wanted in the place, you have to leave. Do not sit around and play games. And you have to vet the people that you're going to be in a relationship with. You have to vet the people you're going to have kids with. Like, you should know beforehand, is this person outside of their money and their sex, is this someone that I would marry? Is this someone that I would trust around my kids or I would like to have around my family? The answer is no, you shouldn't be with them. End of story.